Hello and welcome to another Blender Cookie tutorial. This is David Ward, and in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to use a few different tricks and come up with a nice baseball like this, or you can make a softball, tennis ball, whatever you want to make. Some kind of ball that, you know, has multiple segments to it like we can see. Anyways, so here we go. I'm going to start off in my default scene. I'm going to go ahead and delete the default cube, and I'm going to Shift A, going to add a UV sphere, and I'll knock the segments down to, let's put it down to 16, and then 16 will be fine. Okay, so now I want to set it up to start modeling. Go ahead and delete half of it, and we'll make sure our limit selection to visible is turned on, so we can delete everything on that side that we select. Okay, now we'll add a mirror modifier to it right there. Let's go ahead and turn on clipping. And now we'll go to side view, and you know what? Let's go ahead and delete this also. And go ahead and on your mirror modifier, just go ahead and hit Y. So now we're just editing 1/4 of our sphere there, and it's going to be repeated 3 times to complete the model there. So what I want to make is kind of that you know, the figure 8 infinity symbol type of look that the baseball's pieces are made from, and they're sewn together. So let's see if we can't kind of mimic that a little bit. I want to select all of these guys here, and I'm gonna match it here on the top. So we need to come 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces down. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's select one more, and then we'll select all of these guys. Okay, and we'll go ahead and hit delete, and delete those faces. Okay, I know it's a little rough now, but stay tuned. It'll keep going. Now, in order to get it to set it up to look like it's supposed to, we need to do a couple of things. And first thing I want to do is let's make sure our 3D cursor is still set to our model. So just go Shift S, cursor to selected, and in my screen it's already set there. And now we're going to add a. Actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and add another UV sphere. It's going to be the exact same size, but I can't see the other one, so let's turn it to be wire shaded. So go to your object settings here, and go down here to display, and where it says text, textured, just select wire, and now we can see the other one a little bit better. Okay, so now let's go to our modifiers, and let's go ahead and collapse the mirror there, and let's add an array modifier. And what that does is it just makes a copy of our object, and we can change the settings here to tell how many times it's going to make the copy, where the copy is going to be located, so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and set the relative offset to 0, and we want to have an object offset. So we'll check that and then click in here, and we want to use sphere.001. That's that new sphere that we turned into the wire mesh there. And since this is now the controller of that array, when we move this around, that copied piece is going to follow along. So you might kind of get an idea of where I'm going with this. So let's rotate this sphere. Just hit R and then hit 90 on your numpad, and then Z on your keyboard. And see, it rotated it 90 degrees, and now we're filling that void that was, you know, taken from the original shape. So now we need to do it one more time. So let's just rotate it 180 degrees. Just 180 on your numpad. Let's go ahead and hit enter. And you can see now we have a solid sphere. So let's go ahead and hide this guy. We don't need him for the time being. We'll need him again here shortly. Actually, you know what? We need him. We do need him right now. So let's go ahead and unhide him. Alt-H for those of you that aren't familiar with that. And we're going to add a shrinkwrap modifier. And the target is going to be sphere 001. So now, when we go into edit our original shape, okay, we can go ahead and hide the sphere again. It's going to be in our way. So go ahead and edit the original shape. It's going to stay glued, basically, to that sphere, that underlying sphere. So we can move this all around, and it's still going to maintain that spherical shape. So just real quick, let's turn on the smooth shading, and let's go ahead and add a subdivision surface. There we go. That'll help things look a little bit better. Kind of see how this is taking shape. Real quick, I'm going to turn off my grid floor there so it's not distracting. Just go over to your, just hit N to bring up your properties, go down to display, and turn off grid floor, and go ahead and turn off X and Y as well. Okay, so now we can start kind of reshaping this. Let's try, first thing, let's just try smooth. See how well that works. Just add a few iterations. Excuse me. And now we will turn on your proportional editing and just start reshaping this until it's got sort of that figure 8 shape. You can kind of see it, see the mirror modifier doing its job. Okay, real carefully. Remember, I'm changing the fall off of the proportional editing by just scrolling my mouse wheel. And I believe you can also do it by hitting page up or page down. After you've hit G on your keyboard to move it, just page up and page down also changes the fall off. So. Okay, so let's get in here, and this guy needs to come back. There we go. Drag these towards each other. Okay, now we'll get down in here and readjust this some more. Okay, well, I think it's not perfect, but I think it's close enough. So now that we have our basic baseball shape, we can go ahead and apply some of these modifiers over here. So let's go ahead and first of all, let's just apply the mirror modifier, bink. And we'll go ahead and apply the array modifier. Let's stretch this out so we can actually read what they are. Let's go ahead and apply this, and go ahead and apply the shrink wrap as well. Okay, now, as you can see, we have a few places where we can see right through those seams. And we don't really want that. We want the seams there so we can actually, you know, have the surface of a baseball without trying to worry about texture mapping it just right. But we need to fix those so you can't see through it. So let's tab into edit mode there, and we'll just select, just hold down Shift, or just hold down Alt and Shift at the same time and click on one of those edges, and you can see it selects the whole loop. There's, do it on both pieces there. Just make sure you get everything, because if you don't get it now, it's gonna mess you up later on. Okay, so let's make sure you have both rows selected. Okay, looks about right, I think. Yes. Yes. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to hit E to extrude, and just go ahead and click out, and we're going to scale it down. Let's turn off the proportional editing for now, and we'll scale it down quite a bit, about like so. And then just to make things easier, let's select one piece here and hit Control L. That'll select all of those connected pieces, and we'll go ahead and hide that. And now on the remaining piece, let's just go in here and Control R and add a loop right there inside there. And you know what? Let's go ahead and add one more right there. Get a nice harsh edge there. Now we'll tab in and go ahead and Alt H to unhide. Grab a piece of the other guy, Control L, hide that one, and then just come in here on this one and do the exact same thing. Control R, and in the middle. Be careful, because being the size it is, it's a little difficult to make it a smooth transition. So right there in the middle. There we go. Okay, now we tab out, and we can see that those seams that we had inside there that were visible are now gone. Well, for the most part. There's still some places. We might can fix that by just come in here and select each one of these loops. Okay. And let's just hit W smooth and see if we can't smooth those together a little bit. Okay, so I think that works. Okay, now we got the basic ball down. Couple of things to help make it look that much more realistic. Let's get these seams raised up just a little bit. So one trick we can do, since we already have both of those inner seams selected there, instead of trying to select the other ones as well, quick little trick we can do is just hold down Control and hit plus on your numpad over here. And you can see it selects those incrementally, one vertex up until you get it selected. Now you can do the whole thing if you like, and then just minus does the opposite. And since it selected all of them, when we reversed, it didn't quite act the way that we expected, so there we go. Anyways, so now what we're going to do is make these seams a little bit bigger so they kind of puff out from the rest of the ball. And we're going to do that by just scaling along the normals, Alt-S. And actually, that's not behaving the way I want. So let's just scale it normally. Like so. And we'll tab out. Kind of see that raised up just a little bit. Okay. Now, let's try to get our seams on here. Start doing that by, we're going to Shift A, and we're going to add a curve, a circle, and we're going to set this up to where it runs along our seams there. So we'll tab into edit mode. Let's grab each side here and just scale it down on the x-axis until we're about right there on those seams, and we'll go into side view, 3 on your numpad, and just drag that up until it's right there. Now we're going to do the same thing with these guys. Bring those all the way down. Scale them on the y-axis this time. Okay, and let's go to front view. And that looks good. Top view. Go to wireframe view so we can see a little better. Scale it a little bit more. And there we go. Okay, maybe bring them up just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so now we need, since we've got them pretty well set up, we need to add the curvature to it so it fits the rest of the curve better. I mean, the basic shape now is correct, but we want it to try to fit that figure 8 shape just as close as we can. So let's tab back into edit mode, select everything, just hit A on your keyboard, of course, and we're going to go W, subdivide, and let's go ahead and give it 2 cuts there. Now we'll select these guys here, scale those on the x-axis. I guess we need to make sure we select everything there. There we go. On the y-axis, I guess we're in the side view. Okay, and just drag those out until they line up with our seams on the ball. And do the same thing over here. Make sure we select everything. There we go. And let's rotate this. I guess we just grab that point and just drag it over until it's lined up with the ball as well. Now we'll go to top view. Actually, let's go to front view. Okay, and now we need to do these as well. Scale those on the x-axis until they get over there. About like so. And then we'll just let's grab both of those so we can do it perfectly even. And then grab both of these. And let's just grab this whole section. Okay. And I think that's pretty good. Let's get these guys down here maybe a little bit. Okay, I think that'll work. It's a little squarish because our ball is a little squarish also, but if you have some time, you can go ahead and kind of make it look a little better if you like. like to get these guys lined up a little bit better. There we go. Just rotating, just dragging them out a little bit further until we can see the directional indicators. There we go. Look at these guys as well. Okay, that'll work. Okay, so we got our curve set up. Now what we want to do is we want to create the seams themselves, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to add a Bezier curve. And let's go ahead and set this up just a little bit before we start working on it. Let's go ahead and turn off the front and back caps. We still want to keep the fill deformed. And set the bevel up a little bit. Let's try 0.02. That'll be fine. Resolution, bump that up to 2 is probably fine. And actually, let's make this 0.05. There we go. Actually, that's a little big relative to the size of the ball. So let's just go back down to 0.2. That's still a little bit big, actually. 0.1. That's probably good. Okay, now I'll tab into edit mode, select everything, scale it down. Okay. And that orange dot there, of course, is the center of our object here. We're now inside of our object editing it, so anything we move around here does not affect the center. So we'll just use that orange dot there as a guideline to set our seams up. It's kind of V-shaped, going all the way around the ball. So let's get that set up, and then let's go into front view and rotate those so we have some three-dimensional space coming out of there. Okay, now let's select this whole piece here, and we're going to Shift D to duplicate it, and then we'll S to scale, X on the X-axis, -1. Okay, and now we'll just drag this over here. And you know what, let's get it about like that and maybe offset it just a little bit. And then we'll drag these back until they're centered pretty much there on that orange dot. Okay, now we'll tab out. And now let's go ahead and arrange this guy. Let's drag him out to where he's fitting on the seam. There we go. And we're going to come in here now in the modifiers, and we're going to add an array. And we don't want it to be relative. I like to use the constant offset. And we'll use the Y because that's the direction we're wanting to go. And 0.1 is actually probably about what we want to do. And the fixed count, don't worry about that because we're going to set it to follow this curve, and that'll kind of apply whatever count it needs. So go ahead and do that. Let's go fit curve, and then we're going to click in here and say curve circle. Now what it's doing here is it's just giving us enough copies in our array here to follow along the length of the curve. It's not actually following the curve, it's just following the length of it. So to set it to follow the curve, we need to go add another modifier and set to deform to a curve. For more in-depth analysis on following curves and such, you can check out Jonathan Williamson's Christmas light tutorial that he made a while back. Same basic information here. Okay, so I'm just going to set the object to curve circle also. And the deformation axis, so just go through here and select the one that is going to work the best. Looks like the -Y will. And now we just need to set it to, since we're using the curve as the thing we're repeating around, we need to set our stitches here to be centered up on the same place that the curve is. So let's grab our curve, Shift S, cursor to selected, then grab our our stitches there. Let's go ahead and name those. Stitches. And you know what? While we're at it, we'll go ahead and name this ball. And then I guess the curved circle can keep its name there. So anyways, we grab our stitches and we're Shift S, selection to cursor. And it's going to pop those right on there, right where they need to go. And you can see they follow along the ball quite nicely. They look a little thin though, so let's do one thing real quick. We'll tab into edit mode there. And let's just select everything and we're going to Alt S, kind of fatten them up some. There we go. And now we have some nice stitches around our baseball. I'm going to go ahead and save that. And let's go, hey, you know what, let's just go ahead and create a new folder. Create new directory, yes. My computer catch up with me. Baseball, okay. And I'll put it over here in alphabetical order, so we'll just click in there and say baseball. And save. Okay, so now we have our model set up. Let's go ahead and give it some texture. Now you can make it look like a brand new baseball if you want, strikingly white color, you know, with bright red seams. But for me, I'd kind of like to make it look like it's been, you know, been knocked around a few times. It's been in the dirt and things like that. So let's give it kind of a grungy texture. So we'll just go to the material settings here and just add a new one. And we'll come down here and set the intensity of the specular level way down, about like so. Maybe the hardness down a little bit as well. Just a little bit of a sheen to it. There we go. It's going to be kind of a leathery texture. Okay. And now we'll go to our texture settings. We're going to add a new, and then it's going to cloud. The clouds is going to be fine. We need to change the colors of them. So let's go down to colors, turn on ramp, and click right here. It's already selected actually. And click right here and turn the alpha all the way up. And you know what, while we're at it, let's just go ahead and turn on textured so we can kind of see what we're doing. We might need to turn on textured solid as well. Nothing. I was hoping it would apply my texture map here as we're doing it, but I guess not. So I'll just go back to solid. Okay, but we can just set that to both and kind of take a look on a sphere here, which works just as well. Okay, so we want to kind of give it a nice grungy, dirty feel, so let's change this black to kind of a tannish color, about like so. And that's looking good. Let's change our white also to a little bit grungier shade, a little bit of a gray, like so. Okay, looking good already. And let's go into our cloud settings and set the size up some. Okay, maybe we'll set the contrast up just a little bit. And I'll make this a little bit more brown. Okay. Okay, that looks good. Let me go ahead and set the specular level up just a little bit. There we go. I'll go ahead and save. And you know what? Let's go ahead and add a little bit of a bump map here. Let's just keep the same colors on the cloud there. Take off the influence color and set it to normal. And we'll come back up here. Let's collapse some of these guys. And that's way too much, obviously. So let's collapse that. Set the normal down pretty far, maybe to about just a little bit, 0.2. Let's do an even 0.2. There we go. And I think that'll work for our baseball texture. Let's go ahead and save. And now let's grab our stitches here, and we're going to add a new, and we'll just give this kind of a nice dark red. There we go. Okay, and obviously the specular needs to be all the way to 0 on this one. Thread is not really that shiny. Okay, I think that's pretty good on our baseball. Say you want to call it done. You don't want to worry about any of the arrays or anything anymore. So let's just go in here to our modifiers, and we'll just apply. Cannot apply constructor modifiers. Okay, so just apply that. Oops. I think what we're going to have to do is go object, convert to mesh. There we go. And it goes ahead and applies all of those modifiers to it right there. Okay, now if we want this all one piece, we have our thread selected, just shift select our ball and we'll hit Control J and it merges them together into one file. Okay, so let me go ahead and, you know what, I'll save this as a version, so if you happen to download this, you can see both of the versions, one with the curves, one without. Okay, and now let's go ahead and set the subdivisions, subsurface. Let's go ahead and turn that off. Make things a little easier right there to navigate in our preview here. And I'm going to set up a quick, simple scene in which to put our little ball here. Okay. And let's go ahead and set a couple of lights up. Here, set this one to be inverse linear. And the energy, let's put it up to about 2. And we'll copy that guy over to this side and set it down to about 0.75. And let's zoom in a little bit here. Let's put our plane here so it entirely fills up our background. And now let's go ahead and save, and we'll do a render. And if we did everything correctly, everything should look nice. Probably going to take just a little while to render. Those threads probably have quite a few vertices in them. So, well, okay. One thing we forgot to do is we still have that sphere there and it's hidden. So just Alt-H to unhide it, and we'll just select it and just delete. And I'll go ahead and save. Okay, so now when we render, it should look nice and pretty. Take it a couple of seconds here. I'll go ahead and pause the recording. Oh, here it goes. Okay, so we got a pretty decent looking baseball there. Yeah, I'm happy with the results here. And if you followed along, hopefully you're happy with the results as well. So that's going to be all with this. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks.